Hey, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to Quick Craft with Royce. You guys, I'm going live every day in the month of January to jumpstart our creativity for 2026. And I say a quick craft, but like I'm at an hour and a half for each craft. So y'all just forgive me, but I am committed to doing the craft from start to finish. So that's why we go so long, because I want to absolutely finish. Today, we're going to be doing a book stack, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the project before we get started. Today, I'm live on TikTok, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Apparently, allegedly, Instagram thinks I'm being a spammer because I'm going live every day, and I don't want my account like jacked up. So I'm not on Instagram today. So I'm on TikTok though, which is a first for me. And my daughter-in-law will be here in a few minutes to be my moderator, you guys. So um I think I'll invite her too once she gets here. Anyways, so today we're gonna do a book stack. But you guys, I want to do a different kind of book stacks. A lot of times when I see people do them, they create it as if it's like one unit. You know what I mean? Like they do all the three books. They only like do the front of the top book and they do something on the spines and then they tie it together and then that's it. For me, I like options. I like options. So for me, I'm going to be doing something to the front and the backs of each book, and we're going to do the spine. That way, depending on how I'm using the books, I can display them however I want. So if I want to just use them in a vignette, I can sit them on the short end, you know what I'm saying, like this, right? And display the spine. If I'm using it as a riser, I can do it like this, but I can change them out and interchange it, like whatever like I want to show on the top. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So these are just three books I found at the thrift store. They're all like soup of the soul, I think. I was scored three exact books that were the exact same size. That does not always happen. So I was super excited about that. Um, and the inside's still in good shape. So if I have some people in here who be upset with me, don't be upset. It's fine. You can still read the inside of the book. But I've already taken the liberty of priming these ahead of time. I primed them yesterday for time's sake so we could get through the whole project today. So I have those. And then I wanted to talk to you guys about my decision making for which paper I'm going to use. So the first paper I have here is my dress form project block. So if you are new to Recycled, I design and manufacture and distribute and sell decoupage papers. And these sheets are 21 inches by 29 inches. So these are large sheets. Some of them are like this. This is a project block, and they're meant to make multiple projects. And some of them are scaled for like furniture or home decor. So on this specific project block, this is my dress form project block. We used this paper already last week. If you guys will remember, we did our clipboard. We decoupaged with this sheet, and then we used some milk paint and some wax to make our clip look nice and like crusty, rusty. If you're just coming onto my live and you're curious to see what we did, because I've been live every day, I just decided to go live on TikTok today. Check out my YouTube channel. There's actually a playlist with all the videos that we've done so far. So this was just one, right? And I still had this whole sheet. And of course, I'm going to do the back with the black. So you guys, on Monday on my live, what I do is we come and we do all the finishings for all the projects that we've done the week before. I know that when we content creators go live, you guys see us do a project really quickly, but often we leave the tiny details out because our project might not be dry enough to be able to get to those things, and B, because it's just not sexy, right? You guys don't want to watch us do the boring stuff. So if you want to join me on Monday, oh, my computer's trying to do something, not now. If you want to join me on Monday at noon, I'm live every day at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the entire month of January. We're going to be doing those little finishings. And so like last week, we trimmed around this clip, which wasn't something I did live. But sometimes when you watch somebody do something online and then you go to do it, that's where you get tripped up, right? You get to those last details and you're not sure how to deal with them. And so on Monday, we do that. So like I had decoupaged right over this lip. And so on Monday, last Monday, I showed you guys like how we trim that paper off. And then the paper stuck in some places. So we had to work together to figure out like how to get that paper unstuck. And then I decided ultimately, because I had primed it, to just use some wax because there was white in the project itself. So it worked out, right? And so that's what we did last week. We worked through those details. So on Monday, I'll be doing the back of that clipboard using this. And I believe we have two other clipboards. Um, we need to do the back of this clipboard. Ooh, I still have to prime that one. We need to do the back of this clipboard as well. And this one we did with a paintable floral decoupage paper from Recycled. And it's kind of a mixed media. There's a transfer, there's some stencils in the back. And because it's sealed with a quality sealer, it can still be used, you know, as a clipboard, but you can hang it on your wall and you can have like art in your office, right? And then when you need a clipboard, you have a clipboard. So today we're going to be using, did I decide to use this one? Now I can't remember. Okay. So this is the project block and I could easily use a piece from each of these squares on each of my books, right? One, and that would be two, and that would be three. And because these are all been designed to go together, I know that it's going to go together well. And I may even, because I want to do the front and the back of each of these books, I may sacrifice a piece of this dress form to do something too. Because I'm going to need 6, you know, different pieces. That would be cute, right? So maybe we'll do that. And then we'll do that. So I'm going to use this paper. I thought about using this one. This is another project block. And this thing will take me the longest time. It's making up my mind exactly what I'm going to do. Let me push you guys around a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Y'all don't need to see me, right? This is another project block. And this one has two larger, and this is just like ephemera on this side. And then you have all these different elements on this side. And I thought it would be fun to use these pieces on the spines of the books, which now that I'm looking at it, I think I like that idea. So I may use some of each of these sheets, but they go together. They have that same kind of grungy warmth, and so it'll be fine. Everything's fine, it's fine, and even when it's not fine, it's fine. So if you're new here, my name is Royce Bell. I'm the founder, owner, and operator of Recycled Treasures, where we encourage women to rediscover themselves through creativity by offering quality art supplies and art and craft supplies, instruction, inspiration, and encouragement to be able to create. And I mean create, whether that's for your heart, for your home, or even for your business. And so that's what Recycled is all about. And that's why I'm always so excited when we meet together to create, because I've spoken to so many women who we get so not wrapped up. We give, right? We make a decision to give to our communities and our families and our churches. And somewhere along the line, we kind of forget about ourselves. But as we get older and we have more time, we're looking for ourselves again. And you can find yourself by creating, I promise. And so this is my aesthetic, you guys. You can make something pretty with different kinds of paper. I do have different kinds of paper, but this is what we're going to use today. So because these little blocks seem easy, let's start with them. But I think I'm going to do these on the back of each of my books, and then we'll choose the scripty stuff for the fronts of the books. So I'm just going to trim this paper, and I want to get the decoupage done first because we're also going to be painting. I didn't want to do all decoupage today. We're going to be painting too. And so I'm going to be using, this one is called the Recycled Dress Form Project Blocks. And the other one is the Recycled Junk Journal Project Block Decoupage Papers. So I'm going to just list both of those and we'll see what I actually do because I don't know. We'll see. And then I have on my table that I'm also going to be using, I have a little bit of a transfer that I have left over. This was a larger transfer, but I thought we could put some topography on the spines. We'll just make up some titles. It doesn't have to be real, right? It's for decoration. I do have some milk paint I'm gonna have to mix up some more in my jar. I have some chalk style paint. I have glaze out today. I think we're gonna use glaze instead of waxes. I haven't decided yet. Sometimes I just don't know what I'm gonna do until I start. So we'll figure it out. I do have some wax out today, but I also have some glaze out, and I think I'll probably end up using both in order to get the effect that I want from one of my books. So, and if we're going to be painting, I don't need, let me see. Where am I going to cut this? I'll cut it right here. If we're going to be painting one of the books, I really only need 4, right? I don't need 6. So that's 1, 2, 3. Could we just, I don't want to sacrifice this whole sheet though for just that one book. So I'm going to go and steal something off of this thing for, you know what I'll do? I'm going to use this sheet right here because I'm going to show you guys something. Sometimes you can, you want your decoupage to be the foreground, right? You want it to be the main character in your story. Sometimes you want your decoupage paper to be like a supporting actor, if you will. So today I'm going to show you guys something that you can do to push your decoupage back visually so that it's just supporting what you're doing and it's not necessarily the main star, right, in the story. And if you're new to my quick crafts, you guys, I'm not looking at comments because in order for me to get through this project start to finish, y'all, I have to stay focused. So if you have a question though, if you're on Facebook and you have a question, you can leave it and I'll circle back and answer it. For YouTube, you guys do me a favor. If you're on YouTube, if you look at the top of my channel, there's a tab for community. You guys can drop a question in my community section and I will make a point of going back and answering those questions. And if you're on TikTok, if you have a burning question you want to know, message me. And I will answer your questions for you. So I want to use these pieces. When I made this junk journal sheets, to me, this was like washi tape, right? In my holy imagination. But these are going to be the spines of our books today. And I love, love, love typography. And so you guys will notice it's kind of a running theme through a lot of my designs. Even when I have like pretty floral designs, there's usually like a script or something in the background of that design. So I think we have everything that we're going to be using today's cutouts. And I want to get the decoupage done first so it can dry while we do the painting. In my, I have a membership, my Recycled Besties membership. We had a guest that came in and she was showing us how to use latex, not latex, how to use acrylic paint skins to make jewelry. Gorgeous. And we were like, but your earrings won't match. But it's like, sometimes I don't want stuff to match. Like, I like it to coordinate. And that's what we're doing today. Like, our books are not going to be the same. They're not going to be matchy matchy, but they will coordinate well together. And I've already gone and I've done a lot of the work for you, right? So you know that everything on these sheets is going to coordinate no matter how you use them. And I know I'm not going to read this whole thing. So why am I going to go through the effort of cutting the whole thing? We'll just cut these in half and then I can save this other part for another project. And you guys, your decoupage bits can be used for so many different projects, smaller projects. I just posted in the Recycled Upcycling with Decoupage group in Facebook. One of my retailers focused a bunch of small projects that she did. Bookmarks. I want to say there are some coasters, like really quick projects that only require a little bit of decoupage paper. And if you guys are looking for decoupage paper, You can find the paper and or the retailers who are carrying the paper at roycycled.com. Okay. I guess I didn't want to cut it before though, because I wanted to show you guys. I'm thinking that I may even use this one for a spine, even though it's not going to necessarily make sense. I think visually that would be really cool though, right? So let's start decoupaging. I'm going to decoupage this one first because this one's going to have the most moisture because of what I'm going to do. Before I get started, I am going to be using a water-based varnish or top coat for my decoupage today. And I'll be using this to both adhere and seal my decoupage paper. If you have like chalk style paint or clay-based paint on your in your craft space, then you probably have a top coat, clear coat, varnish. It's all the same, right? It has the same purpose. And you can use that to adhere and to seal your pieces. You if you have like acrylics on your craft table, maybe you use acrylic paints, you can use an acrylic medium or a gel medium to decoupage with. If you are someone who has more like crafty supplies, you may have some craft paint, some crafty acrylic paints. You probably have like Mod Podge or a specific decoupage medium, and those work fine too. Which top coat you use really depends on how you're going to use your final project. So for something with like for decor like this, like Mod Podge would be fine. But if I were going to be doing like a piece of furniture, I'd want to use like a really quality water-based varnish. And if I was going to be using it outside, I'd want to make sure and deal with something that was marine grade that had some UV protection, right? So what you use really depends on how you're going to use your final project. I want to use this paper here. And I told myself I was going to I'll find it in a few minutes because I do want to use a transfer with some topography on top of this. And so that's why I'm going to show you guys. We're going to decoupage this super yummy paper on here. And then we're going to push it back visually to the background so that we can go over the top of it with a transfer, and the transfer will still fit. You will be able to still see the transfer and it won't compete with the background. So I like to trim my decoupage paper before I start decoupaging, so that I'm not wrestling with a bunch of paper. You're less likely to get wrinkles that way. And I trim like an eighth of an inch past where I think it's going to be on my piece, just to give myself a small margin of error, just in case I measured wrong or something. And I could use this again, another piece. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But we are going to decoupage this. And again, I'm just using a water-based top coat to decoupage today. And I'm only going to decoupage to the edge. I'm not going to, I want my spines to wrap up. Well, I don't know if they're going to be big enough. Let me take a measurement really quickly before I plan. I think this one is going to be big enough to wrap around, but I don't know that they all are. These two are, but this skinny one isn't. But I don't want to use this with the topography anyways. And I probably want to use this one with this one. And I think it's going to be big enough. I don't know. I think maybe barely. We'll see. I think we'll be okay. So I'm only going to bring my paper up to the edge of the cover of the book. And I'll use the other paper to wrap my spines all the way around. And I might change my mind from, one design to the next. We'll see what happens. Now I'm being super careful to wipe up any of the varnish where I don't want my paper to stick. And I'm laying down my varnish and I'm going to look at it from the side to make sure that I have complete coverage. Anywhere where it's like not shiny means that there isn't enough product, and paper is going to, even if it sticks now, it'll bubble later. So, line. And I forgot to mist my paper. I do like to mist my decoupage paper. And usually I do a starter roll, but these pieces are so small. When I'm decoupaging smaller pieces, I'm probably less careful than when I'm doing larger ones. And misting the paper helps your fibers expand ahead of time so that they don't respond to your decoupage medium and you get like a completely wrinkle-free application. Now I'm going to leave that. Now I have my silicone cups that I use for my product. I put a little bit too much in here, but I put this in here for a reason. I wanted to show you guys something. I have two ways that I could do this. I could decoupage this and let it dry and just take some paint with water and do a whitewash over the top of this. And that would work beautifully. That's the way I normally do it. But for the sake of today, because I need this to dry while we're live together, I'm going to cheat. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of paint to my the top coat before I go over the top of it. And I'm adding like probably 25% of this is going to be paint and the rest is going to be clear coat. So I don't want it to be, I want it to be pretty transparent, right? I don't want it to be a solid white. And I'm going to go over that. And because my paper is warm, right? It's not like a bright white like this white is. I am going to just take a little bit. I have some yellow ochre here, and this is just some acrylic paint, and this is a transparent yellow ochre, and I'm just going to put I think a dot should be enough. We'll see. I'm going to put it in there until I like the color of the paint. I just want to warm this white up. I don't want my stuff to look ashy, y'all. So I'm going to warm it up a little bit. So that when I lighten it, that I still maintain the warmth that we see in this paper. So you guys can see how that's a lot warmer now. A little more than I wanted, but it's okay. I should have just put one more drop. But we are going to make it work, right? And I'm going to go right over the top of this. And this is going to both seal my paper and push it back a little bit visually so that when I go over this with my transfer, it's not competing. And that still looks pretty transparent and you can't see a big difference, but I'm going to dry it first and see. And I may put a little bit more paint in my clear coat if I'm not satisfied with the result. Let's see what happens. And just so you guys know, often on my lives, I'm experimenting. Like I've never done this before. I just thought about it before I came on and I thought that could work. So we're going to see if it works. And the thing about creating, whether you're creating arts, whether you're doing mixed media art, whether you're crafting, any kind of creating that you're doing, the learning and the growing comes in the discovery. So I always encourage my besties to experiment and to play. If I know exactly what I'm going to do every time I sit down to make something, it means I'm always going to be creating the same things. And that's no way. I don't want to do that. I want to create and learn and grow continually. And that comes from playing and experimenting. So I want that to push back a little bit more. So I'm going to put a little bit more paint in my top coat, not a ton, just a little bit more, because I don't want to push it too far back. And I really didn't want to have to put multiple coats on here. So I should have put more paint to begin with. But now I know, right? For the next time. So I would do like half and half if you were going to try this. Half paint, half clear coat. And then you could get it done. You could get her done in one coat. And again, I'm doing this because I want to push this paper back just a little bit visually so that when I go over it with my transfer, it doesn't compete with the transfer. And that's a lot better, actually. I can tell already. I got a paint booger. We don't want that. And so you guys see how it pushed it back some. So this is the paper before, right? And this is it after. So it just pushes it back a little bit. So when I go over it with my transfer, this is like a beautiful background, but it's not actively competing with what I'm going to put over the top. And I want to make sure to give this an opportunity to dry fully before I put my transfer on. You can absolutely use transfers over your decoupage paper. The trick really is to make sure that your paper and the substrate underneath the paper is completely dry. Sometimes we underestimate how much our surface absorbs moisture when we're working on it. So if you're working on something really porous, like this book board is paper, so it's absorbing the moisture that I'm applying. If it were wood, it would be the same thing, right? Metal, not so much. It's non-porous, so it's not absorbing. So even though this is dry to the touch on the top, there likely is still moisture underneath. So if I try to go over with the transfer right now, my transfer may stick. And then when I try to pull it up, it'll pull my paper up a little bit. Now, if you're ever in a situation where you're trying to apply a transfer and that happens, just walk away and leave it alone. Leave it alone, let everything dry, and then come back later and you'll be able to finish applying that transfer. But if you keep messing with it and trying to make it adhere, it's just not going to, and you're going to end up ruining your project. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and I'm going to work on another book. I could already tell I planned way too much for today, so I apologize ahead of time. But let's just do a quick decoupage of each of these. I think I'm going to take this one all the way to the edge. And I have no reason, no rhyme or reason. I'm just, I really like that grunge right there, but I can replicate that though. Let's try to keep some more of that key, because I like that too. That'd be kind of cool if I just wrap that all the way around, but it's kind of perfect. Look at that. Let's do that. That was fortuitous. Now that I'm going to do that, though, I have to make sure that I'm lined up on this side so that it covers all the way around the spine. So for this one, I'm wanting my paper to lay down a very specific way, right? And so what I'm going to do is I am going to do a starter row. What do I love more, the bug or the script? I can't have two bugs, then it's going to be off balance. I need three. So at least a piece of that bug needs to be up here. Yeah, okay. Double check to make sure I'm good that way. So because I want my paper to lay down like a very specific way, I am going to do a starter row on this one. And I'm going to put my top coat in this. This is a silicone cup. I think these are made for like baby food or something, but they are so perfect for your product. I can store this in here for like 2 weeks and it'll keep. And even if it dries in here, because the silicone, nothing sticks to it, I can just squeeze it and pop it right out and wash it and reuse it. So if you're looking for a more sustainable option, those work really, really well. So I'm going to do a starter row. Here, I'm going to mist my paper. I like to mist my paper ahead of time and take my time. If you like mist it and then you rush, you're really not giving the paper an opportunity to relax and those fibers to stretch. So just a few minutes. It doesn't have to be a long time, but just long enough. And what that starter does is it establishes how this paper is going to lay down on the rest of the project, right? Because now that that's adhered, I don't have to be super careful anymore because it's not going to move like that or scooch down because it's on there really well. So now I can just do the rest of my project. If I do that, I'm going to go ahead and finish the front And then I'll come over and do the sides. And I'm gonna mist the rest of my paper. And then while it's like chilling and starting to relax, I can get my medium down. And again, I'm just using a water-based varnish to both adhere and to seal. But you could use your Mod Podge or your decoupage glue, or even like an acrylic medium or gel medium, or if you have acrylic on your workspace. I do like to work from one side to the other and push out any bubbles as I go. I'm not really worried about wrinkles, but I don't want to get air caught under there either. And the thing about the recycled tissue paper is, unlike the napkin, because it is an 18-pound tissue paper, so it's much heavier than tissue paper, but it's still tissue paper. So you get the benefit of it kind of melting on your surface and being like almost indetectable. Undetectable. Y'all know what I mean. At the same time, but still having more strength than, say, like a napkin would give you. So the heavier tissue paper gives you the best of both worlds. And we are going to wrap that. I probably should have been a little bit more careful on this side. I don't want it to stick on the, like, past that little indentation. So because I'm going to put a different paper on this side. And again, we're making a book stack, but we want our book stack to be interchangeable. Oh man, look what I did. I touched my paper, so I pulled it off. But we're not going to stress. These are supposed to be old books, right? I'm going to be adding some wax to distress these anyway, so it'll be fine. But don't touch your paper after you decoupage with it. And if you have like little wrinkles on your paper, don't worry. Because what happens is the paper is going to dry, and it's gonna shrink, and so those little small wrinkles will come out. So I'm going to set this one aside, and we'll go on to our next book. And again, I'm not reading comments right now, but if you're on Facebook, you can leave a question, and I'll circle back and answer it. Sorry, I'm trying to balance this book. I have my space heater on under my desk, so those can dry. I'll go back and answer your question. If you're on YouTube, if you're going to the communities tab, you can leave a question there, and I'll make sure and go over there and answer them. And if you're on TikTok, my daughter-in-law is coming to moderate, so she may be able to scroll back. But if you have a burning question that you really want to know, message me, and I'll make sure to check my messages once we're done. So for this one, we actually have, let's see, I'm going to use all of these. Let's do this one first. I feel like, could we do 2 books with that? No. Dag nabbit. I love a good Harlequin. So let's do this one. And I think we'll do this one just on the front. We won't do the wraparound. That's so pretty, right? And I love a juxtaposition. Like, this is so pretty, and feminine. And then we have our other elements that are like grungy, and a little bit more masculine. But I think that's my favorite. My style is kind of, I say steampunk-ish, right? It's not like all out steampunk, but it is steampunk-ish. I love industrial decor. I love Victorian details. I love grunge. I love photography. So if you guys ever see me making something like this, it's because I'm making it for myself. I'm being selfish today. Okay. We'll make something pretty tomorrow, I promise. I'm going to mist my paper and just like give it a few minutes and let those fibers relax and stretch out, right? And I can help it along softly. It is wet tissue, so you don't want to be too hard on your paper. My friend Sherry used to say I manhandled my paper, but I don't think so. I'm being soft. So I'm gonna do a starter row on this one. And I'm being super careful not to get any decoupage medium over here in this area where I don't want my paper to stick. When you're using the misting method, you may find that you need to use more medium than you usually do. And that's fine, but just make sure that you don't leave puddles. If you have puddles on your surface, you'll end up with these weird ripples in your paper, and nobody wants that. And again, I'm looking from the side just to make sure that I don't have any dry spots anywhere. And dry spots are puddles, right? Because either one's not good. You want complete coverage, but you don't want too much either. And I'm working from one side to the other, and I'm pushing out any air bubbles as I go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you guys, decoupage is good for so many things. So if you're someone who's been wanting to try decoupage and you've been hesitant to do it, I like to encourage you to try because it's not hard. And if you're doing decoupage for the first time, don't start with a big old piece of furniture. Like, be nice to yourself. Start with something small. Like, this is a nice small project. Um, and I'm going to show you guys 3 different projects while we do these book stacks. We're going to do like a full-on recycled, like Royce, not even recycled, complicated project. And then we're going to do a nice simple one. And you guys can see that you don't need to take all the steps to be able to transform something. You can literally just decoupage it and it immediately transforms it. Or you can do extra stuff like I like to do. This one is going to be extra. Can you guys tell? A little bit extra, not too much, not too bad. And so our front is dry and it's trimmed. Oh, I didn't think about how I was going to trim this edge right here. I guess I could use my blade. Let me see. Usually when I'm trimming with a blade, I like to make sure that my paper is completely dry first so that I can get a nice clean trim. But I'm going to have to trim this right now if I want to be able to put the other paper next to it. And you guys will notice that I'm not going like straight down. I'm actually using this little lip right here to guide my blade so that I can increase the odds of my having a straight cut as opposed to something like warbly. And yes, that is an official word, warbly. I think I need to change my blade. Ah! I did what I want to do. So I'm trying not to press too hard because I don't want to cut my book, but I need to press hard enough for this paper to come on. It is a bit of a dance. If my blade was new, this would be a lot easier. As Tim Gunn would say, make it work, right? This is a make it work moment. Oh, man. Don't do this. Your blade should never be facing you. It should always be facing away. Safety first. My hands are so dry. I forgot to put my We have a local shop that uses goat milk, and then she gave me some stuff on my hands. It's been working really good because in the winter my skin gets so freaking dry. But I forgot to put some on this morning. Okay, so that's trimmed, and I think I'm gonna put my spine on first. And we said we're gonna use this one, right? Let me trim this white box. So for those of you who've been with me, you guys already know my husband, David. David's like, babe, you can show up live every day and just do like a quick craft, 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah. 1 hour later. The problem is my mind says I should do a book stack, right? And so then I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And then what if I do this? Ooh, and what if I do that? And then it just keeps going and going and going. And it keeps going until I push live on the camera. And sometimes it keeps going past that. That's what happens. So I apologize if I've driven somebody completely crazy because my quick lives have not been quick. But hopefully, if you hang out and watch the whole thing, you will learn something new, which is always my goal. And if you would like to learn more about decoupage, and not just like how to glue paper to a substrate, but like there's so much more you can do with decoupage. I do have a class. It's decoupage, my decoupage with confidence course, and you guys can find that at roycycledacademy.com. This one's not going to go all the way around to the back, but I think we're okay. I'm just going to decoupage the front and the spine. And then we'll trim the back. And if you're just popping on, you guys, we're making a, what do I call it? A repositional book stack. So often I see people make a book stack and you can only use it one way. So I want to make each book beautiful on its own so that I can change it around. I like to be able to I want choices. So if all of my books are beautiful all the way around, I can restack them however I want. And I can use the same book stack multiple ways in my vignettes or in my home, right? Especially if you're someone who does like vignettes for like photography, or maybe you're a furniture painter and you are staging your stuff, you want to have options, right? And having a repositional book stack gives you that option without having to have more stuff. It's the same 3 books, but you have 3 different books. Well, hello, ladies. Hello. Hello. How are you, mamas? She's like, oh, Lord. I think she thinks I will put her to sleep every time she sees me, Ariana, because she keeps rolling her eyes at me. My grandbaby is here. And Ariana's here too. Oh, that is so pretty, right?
Are you live on TikTok?
I am. My phone's right there. I tried to add you as a moderator, but your name didn't come up when I looked for you. So that's that one, and we have the spine done. And I'm going to sit this down and let it dry, and we'll work on the next one. You want to come say hi?
Let's say hey to Grandma.
Oh my God, you look so cute. Can you say hi? Can you see yourself right there? Say hi. What are you doing, Grandma? What are you doing? What you got there?
Okay, add me to your moderator now.
Or you gonna have you messaging it while I'm live? Okay. Oh, like I can just add you?
Yeah, just click on my name.
Okay, let me see. Oh, invite. Oh, Queen Ari. I was just looking for Ari. Invite. Invitation sent.
No, you wanted me to be a guest on there.
I
Want me to be a
know.
guest on there?
Yeah, you can be a guest if you want. No, you don't want to be a guest?
But it's gonna hear us double time if I'm in here.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, Irina. Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Let's say invite.
See if I can.
You want to just take the phone? Don't show nobody. You guys don't judge me because my shop is a mess. Just telling you right now. I'm glad I moved my vibe. Sorry, y'all. I'm working with tech over here. So let's go. Which one did we do first? We did this one. So we'll trim this one. No, that one's still kind of wet. And they both are. So I'm gonna hit this with a little dryer and then we'll do the back of this one.
Okay, how do we put that?
Okay, so now you're a moderator.
Mhm.
Oh, good. Then I can just put it down to the table. So I'm going to dry this a little bit more. You can trim your paper when it's a little bit wet, but I will tell you that you're going to be more likely to get like it's not going to be as clean of a trim if it's wet. And then I like to use between like a 180 to a 220 grit sanding block. If you use anything like if you lower than that, like a 80, the little sand on there is so big it can score your edge. And if you use something like a 300 or a 320, you'll just be sanding for eternity. So like to me, a 180 to 220 is better. You can move that stuff off that table right there.
No, I'm requesting to be your so I can talk to your TikTok people.
Oh,
Look at
okay.
me real quick. I'm gonna go inside.
Oh, y'all gonna leave me? Let me see.
I'll talk to your TikTok people.
Where do I go? I can invite you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is David here?
He is.
Okay.
We're gonna go bother him. We're gonna go inside and talk to your TikTok.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And so now I can take this and I'm going to drag it down. I'm going kind of diagonal though, so I can cover more surface area at one time.
I didn't get the invite.
And send it. You're going to kick me off. She knows what she's doing. Okay. Thank you. And so I'm only going down. If I go side to side and there's a piece that's not tacked down, I risk tearing my paper. And if I go up and down, I risk like lifting it and having the same issue. So that's why I like to just go down and diagonal, and then I get a nice clean trim and I don't have to worry about it. And sometimes when you sand your paper, you guys see that kind of white edge right there. I'll just go over it with my little ink pad after I'm done and go over that edge to take care of that. Oh, Lord. Can you mute?
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So that side is done. And let's do, should we do a different spine, you guys? I thought that's going to take us a long time. Oh, I know, huh? Okay. That makes sense because I'm not. Can you, I hope they can still hear me. Okay. Oh, that is so pretty, right? I love how each book is going to really look completely different, but they'll still go together really good. And so this is the benefit of if you're someone who's nervous about like using mixed match stuff, or you're not sure of what to use, the project blocks are really nice because they're already coordinated for you. So you don't only have to think about it. You can just put it together however and know that it's going to work. I think to save time, let me see. I'm gonna do some painting too, so we're not doing just decoupage. Maybe I should do that on this one. We'll paint the spine and the back of this one. That's what we'll do. I think this is dry enough that I shouldn't have issues. Because I did want to do some painting. That one, we did it all the way around. So let's, I'm gonna put this one down to dry and we're gonna decoupage the back of the other one. And then we'll come back and we'll, let me think. Hmm. Hmm. We have the back of that one. We have the back of that one. Let's go ahead and paint. So I'm gonna mix together some, I debated on whether or not I was going to use a clay-based paint, which is like this really pretty rich color, or if I was going to use milk paint. But this milk paint is really my favorite right now, so I'm going to use it. And this color is called a praying light. I'm not mentioning specific brands while I'm live, you guys, because my retailers, I have retailers who sell my paper, wonderful small businesses who partner with me to sell my products. And I want them to be able to share the lives without having to worry about like me using a product that they don't sell. So that's why I'm not mentioning specific brands. But if you message me and you ask me for the brand, I'll tell you what it is, right? And if you have a creative business and you're looking for a brand to carry, I would like to encourage you guys to consider Recycled. We do have decoupage papers and stencils. Our buy-in is pretty low. I would say it's lower than most brands. We do offer territory protection. So if you're in an antique mall, like you have a booth in an antique mall, you don't have to worry about there being, as long as you're active, right? Which for me, active is submitting an order with every release, a minimum order with every release, which is roughly quarterly in order to maintain your active status. The reason why we do that is because if we're protecting the territory, that means nobody else can sell there. So in order to ensure that the customers in your territory are being served, you need to have like inventory. So it's kind of a mutual agreement, but we do territory protection. So you don't have to worry about like your neighbor being approved for recycled products. We have quarterly business training inside of our program, and the product is beautiful. You'll love it. If you do any kind of workshops, your customers will love using the product. And recycled retailers do have access to ongoing education. So usually once a year at least, I'll do a training, whether it's on our stencils or on like a decoupage course. And if you're a recycled retailer, you get free access to those courses because I want you guys to be equipped to be able to demonstrate how to use the products, right, to your customers. And if you're holding workshops, you may find ideas. I know that one of my retailers, the Vintage Danes, is having a workshop today, I believe, and she's teaching something that we taught in one of our classes. I don't know, a couple of years ago. So, and even if you're coming on and I'm not currently teaching a course, on your dashboard, you'll have like a multiple courses in there, past courses that you can go and take free so that you'll be equipped to be able to use the product and share with your customers effectively. So I am just, this is milk paint, you guys. So I just mixed it with water. You're supposed to mix it like 1-to-1. I like to mix it a little under so that my paint can be a little bit thicker. And I'm going to dry this really quickly. And I'm going to experiment, like another experiment today. So you guys will get to see my madness. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. So I'm going to dry this really quickly. I kind of wanted to see if I could make this look like leather. So I have a course that I teach, and it's a fabric painting masterclass. It is available at royceacademy.com. One of the finishes I teach is how you can paint leather to look and feel, how you can paint fabric to look and feel just like leather. Seriously, it's my favorite finish ever. And so I was curious to see if I could take some of those techniques and apply it to my book and get a similar finish. So we're going to see what happens because I don't know. And I think I have my Pepperleer stamp here too. So I'm going to use that a little bit. Should I do 2 coats? I'm thinking I should probably do 2 coats of this before I go in with the other paint colors. And then we can just go over that spine with a piece of transfer, and it'll look complete. So this way you could change how you stack your books. Or even if you're setting them up on the short side, the spines will be there and that'll just be decor too. I do a lot of photographs for different projects that I finish, and I will generally stage them with other things. And so this book stack will probably become part of my regular staging, which if you're someone who has a creative business, that can be something that you can do as well. If you find that you have like, even if it's just one staging item and it's in every one of your photos, what begins to happen is when people are scrolling, they'll know right away that it's yours and they'll stop and see what you're up to. So I have about 5 items that I generally use in all of my staging. So hopefully when you guys see it, before you even stop scrolling, like, you know, it's going to be from me. I brush this a little bit, and so I have little powder bits in there, but I'm going to leave them because I want this to be some old distressed leather. So when you put your second coat of milk paint on, like, you kind of have to just drop it on there and go really softly, or you'll pull up the first layer. For me, I like laying it on there kind of thick like this because it's going to create interesting texture that's going to lend to the leather look kind of feeling that I'm going for. I've just discovered milk paint, you guys. I've had it for years, and I think I used it once or twice, but I've been playing with it lately, and I am obsessed right now. And I think it's because I've been able to create these really beautiful, grungy, vintage finishes using the milk paint. And it's almost making me it's pretty much making me want to teach another texture class. I have a texture masterclass on my dashboard at royceacademy.com where I teach, like, I started out wanting to teach how to make like a patina, a faux patina, but I ended up teaching way more than that in the class, which is why I'm calling it a texture masterclass. Because we go over so many different things in the class. But I'm thinking about doing another texture class and incorporating the milk paint because I've been experimenting with it and I like it very much. And milk paint is interesting because it's like it takes it a few minutes to absorb to moisture. It's really, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I kind of laid down too much milk paint on this, but I don't know that I'd be able to do it another way because it wasn't really spreading. It's like it absorbs the moisture and then it releases it. It's interesting. But I'm learning how to use that to my advantage to be able to create like really yummy textures. Even that, like touching it and pulling it up in certain areas, doing that on purpose. Because I do want this to be distressed. I want it to be white though, so I'm gonna go back in there a little bit. So I'm gonna dry this and then we're gonna move on to the next step. What time is it? Lord have mercy for Jesus. How is it 1:02 already? How did that even happen? But we're gonna finish because my promise to you guys is that we're gonna do projects from start to finish. And you guys, I probably shouldn't tell you this because I haven't even emailed my retailers yet. I won't tell you. I'll be nice. But just know that not next week, but the following week, I'm going to be doing projects, special projects. I'll just say that for now. That's all I can say. We had a community-wide outage for Wi-Fi yesterday. So I'm like behind on so many things. I got to get packages out today. I got to get emails out today. So I'm hoping to get caught up. That's why I wasn't live yesterday, by the way. I wasn't playing cookie. We just didn't have, it was like on and off. It was super glitchy all day yesterday. The entire community. So crazy town. But we're back today. So hopefully I can get caught up. I was going to say something and then left me. So if you guys enjoy my madness, I will be here every day at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the month of January. Come and join me. Or if you can't join me, the replays will be available. I usually go in on YouTube and I put like a thumbnail on there so that you know what's on each video. And eventually I will get around to editing these videos and re-uploading them, but eventually, legitimately, because I don't have time. I don't have time. For my membership, we meet live once a week. And so I spent my day going through our live and editing it and uploading it to the dashboard. So anyone who wasn't able to be there live can go back and watch the replay. And if you are, I think I saw Chris was on. If you're in the membership and you're looking for the one from Tuesday morning, I put it under a special guest because we had a guest on Tuesday. So that's where you'll find the video. But I did post inside the dashboard and inside the Facebook group the link directly to the replay too. And if you are interested in being part of my Royce Besties membership, I'd like to encourage you to join us. We meet once a week, and it's not like live, like this live. We actually meet in a room, kind of like Zoom. We had a lesson. Three of the meetings, we actually were doing a lesson, and we take super deep dives on like a singular subject. So we spent, a few weeks on air dry clay. We spent a few weeks on like making faux mirrors and, all the different things that you can do around that. And we're getting ready to start our kind of a series on using the gel plate and all the different things that you can do with that. So we take super deep dives on different things. I am so blessed to have women who are experts at so many different things. So I call them our resident experts, right? Because they all have different backgrounds. And so they're super knowledgeable about different things. And so what happens is I'll show up to teach something, and then somebody who knows a lot about, say, resin may make a suggestion, or somebody who does jewelry may make a suggestion. And it's just super cool community. I just love it so much. I genuinely love my community. And we meet once a week. And then one Saturday a month, it's just coffee and chat. Although we chat every time. We usually spend the first 40 minutes on the lesson, and then we take questions. And then the next hour, we're just talking about stuff. But on the last Saturday of the month, we just meet and chit chat about whatever. So I've gotten to know the ladies and I love them all. It's pretty fabulous. So if you're interested, oh man, I got paint. If you're interested in finding a community of creative women, I know a lot of us creatives, we live with our families and our friends and they love us, but they don't get it. They don't understand. Even if they tolerate us, they don't know. So this is just an opportunity to hang out with like-minded individuals who get it. This color is so yummy. I just love it so much. I got a little bit of crack-a-lackin' with the milk paint. You don't know. You don't know. I don't have a dry brush. I guess I can use this one. I just want to encourage anything that's going to crack off to go ahead and crack off now. before, so it's not cracking off later. And I have this color and it looks a little purpley. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but this absolutely works. And I'm gonna put it on my mat. You guys will see that I have this mat underneath my projects all the time. It's silicone and I love it so much because I have yet to find anything that sticks to it. So I can work on it and then I just take it in the house and clean it off and it's as good as new. And it comes in a roll. And I actually use it for a lot of different things. Because it doesn't stick to anything, I just need a little bit. And it looks a little like purpley, I know, but it's going to be fabulous. I have my little round brush here, and I'm just going to go around my edges a little bit. I'm going to just add that. And I'm really kind of dry brushing it. I don't know how to explain it. I'm putting it's a little bit more than a dry brush, but not much more. Very, very little paint is going on this brush. And I wish I had my small brush. This big brush is making it a little bit harder to do what I want to do, but because I like it when my edges are darker. And then for this in particular, if this were a leather book, a leather bound book, anywhere where someone was touching it a lot would be darker, right? Because of the oil on our hands. I love the look of like old antique leather. Ugh, it's why I had to learn how to recreate it with paint because I can't afford it. And inside of my master class, my fabric painting master class, I teach you guys how to make like old Italian letters specifically. Somebody's probably grabbing the bottom of this to take it off the shelf a lot, right? Whenever I'm distressing a piece, I always think about like how it's used and I'm like building a story around that when I'm making decisions about where to put my distress. And it doesn't have to be even all the way around because it wouldn't age evenly, right? If it were real leather, it would be kind of all over the place. It looks yummy already, doesn't it? Ugh, I love it so much. And so you have this, look at that, versus just the plain. I'm gonna have to use my little brush and go in there, and I'm trying not to hit my paper. I should have painted that little line right there. Should I bring this around? Because I'm gonna wax this too. Let's make it all cohesive. And I know it looks purpley now, but we're gonna put dark wax over this and it's gonna change it some. So it won't look as purpley. And like I said, this is probably this is the most complicated version of the three books, I promise. I will do a simple version. So if you're new to decoupage, you do not have to do all this. This is just me being extra. I am gonna go in and add some paint in that because that stark yellow is just not gonna, it is not giving what I need it to give. It is 1:13. Good night. I should have done like one book a day, is what I should have done over the course of 3 days. Kind of like we did our cans. We did one can a day. Um, and you guys, the milk paint, I know some of you, this is your first time hanging out with me. I want to show you guys what we're able to create with the milk paint. Look at that. Doesn't that just look like a crusty can that you pulled out of a barn somewhere? But it's a popcorn tin. Like, how fabulous is that one? This is my favorite one. We did 3 different ones. And this one, the lid, look at how just yummy and chippy. And it's just a popcorn tin too. But, you know, we were able to make them. So I have 3 of them stacked together, kind of like hat boxes. And they will go in my living room and be risers for something. I have a mannequin head. We might do her together. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I have this mannequin head in my living room, and she's kind of in the corner. So I want her to sit up a little higher than she's sitting right now. Somebody stop because I'm getting it on the paper, but don't worry. We'll wipe it off before we wax it. It'll be fine. That's the cool thing about the milk paint too, is you can do a wet distress really, really easily. Whoops. It's kind of cool though, isn't it? You see that? Now I want to do it on purpose. It just makes everything go together tonally, right? Just warm that right up. And so now it's the same tone as the other part. See, that wasn't my plan, y'all, but you know, it is a woman's prerogative to change her mind, right? And I'm not supposed to be spending as much time on this book though. So let's finish this one up so we can go to the other ones. I have a little dark right there already, so I don't have to put a lot. Now, if you're working on this project, right, and you get to this point if I wanted to put a transfer or something over this, I would need to do it now because I'm going to finish this up with wax, and you can't put wax down and then put a transfer. The wax resists almost everything. So once you wax it, you're pretty much done, which is what we're going to do next. We're going to wax this really quickly, and then we're going to be done. Now I'm sitting here thinking about whether or not I want to. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I have my crackleer stamp right here, crackleer, and I am going to. Where is the brayer? I'm going to add some crackle using the same kind of red purpley paint. I get a lot of questions about using paint with your stamps. Oh man, I got that paint booger on there. You can, absolutely. I do suggest using a brayer because you get like a really, almost a perfect amount of paint on your stamps when you use your brayer. And it's not going to be the same as ink, but it's, you can use it though. So I'm just going to touch that right here and there. I'm going to add the little crackle using that stamp, like another element. Actually, this stamp set has a couple of textures, and the one I wanted I couldn't find. It's like a bigger crackle kind of a texture, but you see how it's able to put like visual texture on there, even if I don't have physical texture. Oh, my spine. I'm gonna have to put my transfer on there real quick. Before, I don't know if it's dry though. I'm gonna set this aside and we're gonna let this dry some more because I do want to put some typography on the back, and I'm gonna have to do it now before I wax, because once I wax, I won't be able to. So I'm gonna set this aside. I know it looks crazy, but you guys trust me, it won't look crazy in a few minutes. So I'm gonna put that one aside, and we can trim and decoupage the back of this one. I thought painting would be faster, but my mind just doesn't stop, and it keeps giving me more ideas. It's a problem. And again, I'm just going straight down. I'm down and across though, because I can get more. If I just go like this and then like that, like it takes forever, right? But if I go down and across, I can cover a larger surface area quicker. And this is my finger sander. I love this so much. You can find it on Amazon. And I would show you a link to my Amazon channel, but I mean my Amazon store. I'll put it up in a few minutes. I like using, you guys will notice that you hardly ever see me use sandpaper. And you can use sandpaper. It's not that you can't use it, but you know, I have, Arthur is already visiting me, even though I'm only 56. I'm not even 56 yet. I'll be 56 on the 27th. So you'll usually see me either with like a sanding pad like this one, or I have a sanding block that I use sometimes. And it just makes it easier for me to be able to create. And as we get older, you know, we have different challenges, but it doesn't mean that we can't create. It just means we have to modify our approach, right? So if you've been creating all your life and maybe when you create it, you know, it hurts your hands, or maybe you stop painting furniture because, you know, you're not able to navigate physically the way you used to, we can cheat. Like Harbor Freight has this hydraulic like lift thing. You can put your furniture on there and lift it up so you don't have to bend over. Or you can get you a stool like over in the automotive section with wheels on it so that you can wheel around and not have to be on your knees. Or like even you guys see me using my fussy cutting scissors, and they're pretty. Oh Lord, I wasn't wearing my mic the whole time. You guys didn't tell me. They're pretty, but they're also very functional for me. Y'all probably couldn't even hear me, could you? Lord have mercy. Because this really wide thing right here makes it so much easier for me to cut than just regular scissors. So when I'm doing any kind of fussy cutting where I'm looking, needing like little details, just having this wider thing right here makes it so much easier. So just because we're getting older doesn't mean we have to stop. We just have to be thoughtful about how we do things. Because even my knife, you guys will notice it's fatter. It's not like the standard little skinny one. And for me, it's generally finding ways to get around being able to create when my hands are either hurting or they're not cooperating. But we all have different challenges, right? But there are no rules. I was thinking last night because I've been working on like learning classical art, and whenever I've spent so much time sketching in my sketchbook that I can do that well. But whenever I try to sketch something out on my easel, it just never comes out right. And I was thinking about it last night when I was working on getting ready for my next project, that why do I feel like I have to sketch at my easel? Like if my sketchbook works, then I'm going to sketch in my sketchbook. And then I'll probably use a projector when I get ready because I'm doing like these studies, smaller pieces. When I get ready to go to my canvas, I'll just project my sketchbook sketch onto my canvas. And like, who says I have to do it a specific way? Right? It's my creation and I can do it the way I want to. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Um, this piece right here didn't adhere, so I'm just going to put some product right there. And I probably shouldn't miss that because that paper is like being really, it has product on it, so it's stiff. So I'm going to miss that so it'll lay down easier. Let me dry that corner before I turn it over because I don't want to mess it up. Good night. It is 1:25. And you guys, if you are doing projects, and I would love to see, like, you guys have no idea how much joy it brings me when I see what you guys have created. On Facebook, you guys can show me in the Royce Upcycling with Decoupage group. You do have to request to join that group. I am pretty stringent with that because I don't want a whole bunch of spam in my group. And so you have to request before you can actually post, but you can post and then I'll look at it. And once you're approved as a member, then you can post whenever. I just went through and approved like 100 plus people yesterday. Not yesterday, day before yesterday. I feel like I have to use this piece, right? We have to have some of this in this group of books. So you can go to that group. If you are not on Facebook, you can go into, they're telling me, I haven't seen anybody post. One of my besties, will you guys do me a favor? Will you guys go into the community section on my YouTube and see if you can post? Help a sister out so I know, because I can't tell because I'm logged in, right? I'm running my finger along the edge of this so that I can mark the paper where I need to trim. And then of course I'm going to trim a little bit past that so that I'm not trying to trim it perfectly. Let me clean up a little bit. I want this to stay dry or it's not going to work right, but I need to clean up a little bit. I got everything under the sun out over here. Because theoretically you should be able to post a picture there inside of the communities tab on YouTube. So if you guys, I know that somebody already posted a project inside the group last week where she did some tins. I just love seeing. It's one thing when somebody says, "Oh, Royce, that's really neat," or "That's really pretty." It's another thing when someone posts a picture of something that they've made that I inspired. Like to me, that is just the bee's knees. Or even if somebody says, "I'm going to try that," like that's what I love. Okay. I always like trimming my paper. I just feel like when you're fighting with the paper and you're trying to get it down at the same time, that you're more likely to get wrinkles or to make a mistake. So I like having just enough paper on there. And if you ever like, I'm decoupaging this dark paper on white, right? So theoretically, I could have an area where that white is showing through, and that would be an issue. You can just use like a glaze or a dark wax to cover up that really white area, and it'll be a lot less noticeable. So even when you make a mistake, or we won't call them a mistake. Even if you make a happy accident, we can fix it. There's generally always, almost always a way to fix it. You guys will notice that I generally only missed the area that I'm going to be working on. Um, and that's just how I like to tackle my project. So if you're working on like a large piece of furniture, that's a way that you can tackle it. So you guys, this is a perfect example. Remember yesterday when I talked about how you can spray the front of your paper, but if you have paper that has like a lot of ink, right? That this ink acts as a resistance and it takes a longer time for the water to saturate. You guys see that? Everywhere where it's black on the front, there's very little water on the back. So that's why if you're working with like a more saturated paper that has a lot of ink, you may want to mist the back of the paper rather than the front. Um, because it's going to absorb more readily and more evenly if you do it that way. You can do the front, it just takes more time for it to saturate. But since I don't want to have part of the paper wet and part dry because that can cause a whole nother problem. So I'm going to go ahead and spritz the back of this. And again, I want it to be generous, but I don't want to have puddles because puddles cause their own problems. And I always turn my paper around because I just like working from right to left. It's a personal preference thing. If you don't have a personal preference, you don't have to do that. And you guys will notice when you first start decoupaging, if you're brand new, you'll be like super cautious and super careful and you'll follow all the rules. But once you've done it for a little while, you will not. You'll just do whatever works in that moment. And you'll find that you're not being careful anymore. Oh, wow, that went all the way over. I'm just not going to worry about it. Okay. So when I was talking to my people about being simple, this is simple, right? You have a book here and it was a plain book from the thrift store. You can just decoupage it and it's fine. You don't have to do any of the extra like stuff that I'm doing. If you decoupage it, it'll be beautiful. You can trim it with your sanding block and you could be done. You wouldn't have to do anything else. But I like to do stuff. And I did not find my transfer ahead of time. So I might do an off edge transfer on there on the other part. My knees are starting to hurt. It's 1:30. Oh my gosh, this is the longest I've gone, you guys. And we have to finish though, right? I promise you guys start to finish. So if you don't want to hang out this long, I understand. My feelings will not be hurt. The replay will be available on YouTube if you guys want to go check it out over there. Because I understand. But if you're interested, please hang out. That will be awesome. So if you're someone who's new and you're looking for like a super simple decoupage project, you could literally just decoupage your book and it would be pretty just like that. You wouldn't have to do anything else. We're going to sit her aside and let it dry. Oh man, I have the back of this one too. I should have just wrapped this paper all the way around. And that's an option too. You can just take one piece of paper and wrap it all the way around. That would probably be like the simplest, right? thing to do. But what we'll do is we'll use the other piece of the same paper for the back of this. And I'm just going to do a quick, simple decoupage on this one because we are running out of time. Well, we've already run out of time, if we're being completely honest. But I do want to show you guys. It's the Dame leather paint. That's what threw me off. I'm sorry. I got excited. I love the grungy bits. You guys notice I always try to keep those on the book. And this heater, I have this heater under my desk so that it can warm everything, but it's killing me. Killing me, Smalls. I always have to look up and make sure I'm in the camera. I need to like put some marks on my table so that I know when I'm in the shot, like have like a visual reminder of where I need to be. And remember the misting, I usually get comments like, what are you spraying or why are you spraying? All I have in that spray bottle is water. I do prefer using a misting spray bottle because I'm not trying to saturate my paper. I just want to mist it to add a little bit of moisture so that it can relax. And that way, when it comes into contact with my decoupage medium, it doesn't respond and I get a really nice wrinkle-free finish. It is the easiest way that I've found to be able to get a wrinkle-free finish with my decoupage paper. That's why you guys see me use it over and over and over again. This one's cool because it has essentially the same front and the back. We're going to leave the back plain though. I just love old ephemera. Like, it has the stamps on there and you have a script on there. I don't know why it brings me so much joy. So let's sit this one down and let it dry. And let's add our, I hope it sticks to I haven't tried to put a transfer on chalk paint. I'll be honest with you guys. So this is still a bit of an experiment. 100 plates. That looks like a good title. We'll do that. And of course, this is just a piece from a much larger transfer, but I don't throw anything away. So I have it. And I use all my transfer bits on different projects. You just want to make sure that when you're saving one of your transfers, that you keep your backing paper on there. So I'll show you guys really quickly. If I'm saving a transfer, I just use a little bit of tape and I tape the backing onto it. That way the backing stays on there. So like this piece right here, the backing is coming off. So I'm going to need to tape that, or I may use that on another book today before I put that away. So I don't know what's going to happen, you guys. We're going to see together. But 100 plates, that's going to be our title for this book. And this should be dry. Should being the optimum word here. So we're going to see if I can get that transfer down. Oh, it's transferring. Lovely. And even if it's distressed, that's still going to be cool because this is supposed to be a really old book. There's moisture, I can tell, because it's not. So you see what happened? The paint is sticking to my transfer. It's not going to lay down because there's still moisture under here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this over here and I'm going to come back later to try and put that down. I don't want to seal it because then it'll be a different color than the rest of the book. Maybe I'll have to use a stencil on this one because I want you guys to see the wax. So we're going to wax this. I'm going to start with some dark wax to just kind of push the idea of the darkness around the edges. And I know this doesn't have anything to do with decoupage, but you know, decoupage is just part of that's just one tool, right? In your toolbox. The more tools we have, the more we can create. So yes, I teach decoupage, but I generally teach other things too. So I'm going to take my wax and I'm going to go around. I'm really sad about that edge. I'm going to have to find a stencil to put there maybe. And I'm not going to do this either. I'm going to go back to that later because I got to figure it out. And I'm just going to go around though these edges with this dark wax. And the reason why I'm only going around the edge with the dark wax is because this is a really porous, surface. So if I go in with the dark wax right away, it's going to absorb it really fast and I'm going to lose control over how dark my piece gets. Which is what I want it real dark around the edges, which is why I'm fine going around here, but I don't want it all to be dark. And what you can do is put your clear wax down first, and then you go over with your dark wax, and you just have way more control over the final finish. I'm feathering that a little bit by pulling that dark wax into the rest of the book a little bit. So it's just not dark, stopping like right there where the red is. And now I'm going to go in with some clear wax and go over the rest of this. And the wax, see how it just wakes that paint up? So beautiful. I'm not like super happy about that bright white. So I'm gonna have to figure out something with that. Because now that I've waxed it, I can't exactly go over it with paint, but I'll figure something out. I probably should have gone in here with a black paint, right? Because then at least there'd be black peeking through there and not that bright white. And I want you guys to know that even though like your favorite creator shows up and they make stuff all the time and it looks like it always works out, sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay too, because we learn, right? So the next time I get ready to do this finish, I know that I'm not going to start with a white primer on the bottom. I'm going to choose a darker color to go underneath that. But look at the rest of it. Like, doesn't that look like an old, like crusty leather book? I just love that so much. I'm not gonna do the spine yet because I got to figure it out because I want some topography there. And if I go in with the wax, I minimize, my options there. But I am gonna go and we're gonna do the top because this is sealed. My paper is sealed, so I can go over it with wax. So we're gonna do the same thing. And I'm gonna go around the edges with the dark wax first. I'm trying to be careful and not hit that spine. I may have to go pull out my Cricut and make me a stencil for that. I feel like I should go over this whole thing with the dark wax because it's not super dark over the paper, is it? But I like that halo effect, so I think I'll keep that. So I'm going to take some clear wax. And what that does is just control how dark it gets. So I can go over this now with the dark wax and it'll still unify the tone, but you see how it doesn't get dark like super fast. And then I'm going to wipe off the extra wax, but I'm going to be careful because if I buff it too much, it'll get shiny, which is not the look I'm going for. I don't want shiny. I'm going to let that wax sit for a little bit and I'm going to go in with some more dark wax. But look at that. Like, how yummy is this book? Don't look at this bottle. It looks like old leather. And what am I going to do with that? Maybe if I just put some dark wax in there, it won't look as... I don't mind the white necessarily. I just don't like it being like a super stark white. And you guys, I want to talk about safety and wax. I know I've talked about this already, and it's just because it's really important, and I really don't hear people talk about it a lot. But your wax has solvents in it. I better stop meddling with this because I'm actually causing extra problems. Your wax has solvents in it, and when the wax before it cures, it's off gassing the whole time. So this right now has wax on it, and those fumes are coming off of here, even if we can't see it. So if I were to take this towel and ball it up and throw it somewhere, those fumes can compound enough that this can catch fire. So when you get done with your towel that you're working with your wax, make sure that you hang it or lay it somewhere completely flat so that it can off gas safely without having, like, you don't want your stuff to be on fire, right? So the wax is wonderful, but you do want to be mindful when you're using it. And that's true for paste wax. I don't know if that's true for all the waxes, but definitely for if you open your wax and you smell, because you can smell the solvent, then you want to be careful. If you have a wax, because some of them are organic and they don't have a lot of solvents in them, they may not have the same issue. Now, you guys know I want to wax. I'm not going to do it because I promise you guys we do one like super simple one. So this is done. I don't have to wax it or anything. I can just decoupage it and it's done, right? Although I have those white marks, so I'm probably going to ultimately wax it. So that's my second book in my stack. And then this is my third book in my stack. And I think that this one might be dry enough. So remember when we first started, we see how this one is kind of like it's has like a white haze over it, and this is it without the haze, right? So this one is the one that we did the paint on, and it was because I wanted to put a transfer over the top and I didn't want it to get lost with everything that was behind it. It's not this transfer though. Let me see if we can... And it doesn't have to make sense, right? I mean, I guess it's nice if it does, but it doesn't have to. But we're going to make up a title to our book. And this is an older transfer too, which may be the issue. Are you tired of me already?
No,
Mhm.
said it looks great so far on TikTok.
Oh, thank you.
And you are at 12 license.
Am I? I've been here long enough. I think this
And the
transfer.
baby is not letting baby go back to work.
Oh, she's.
She's chasing out the door.
Oh. I know. David is nice. The kids love David better, you guys. Mm,
Until now comes on. Now he's the queen.
I know. Nana is the queen.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Have a good day at work, babe. I'll see you later. Are you late tonight? Oh, okay. Oh, you don't want to let your grandpa go? I want to use up this transfer because it's been rolled up in my studio for a while now. And this is from one of the older transfers, which I think is why I'm having a little bit harder time, but I was able to get it on there. So you guys see how if I had put that like right on top of that busy background, it would have been competing. But because we knocked it back some, it's not competing with what's going on the top. She is like not having it. I'm looking for a piece of tape so I don't ruin my transfer. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape right here so it doesn't separate from the back. And then I think industries, let's do this piece. You guys think a flower would be weird on this one? I think we can put a flower on this one. We want something kind of pretty. And so I'm just making up a title, y'all. We don't know, you know. Oh, I have a piece of packing tape on there. Thank you, Ariana, for your help today. I appreciate it. Okay. So we're going to add this transfer right over the top. Maybe. I should have took my time and found a new transfer. Sometimes when I'm dealing with the older transfer and I can't get it to release, I'll cheat and like make like a little wave. And what it does is it makes it pop off the backing paper. So you guys see that? I'm like making a wave like that. So it'll pop off the backing paper. And then once it's off, that S isn't going to transfer, but it's okay. Then I can go over it and like push them and make sure that it's adhering to the surface. Hey, pretty girl. Oh. There's a 1858 here that I want. Look, it's just a little bitty piece of this transfer, but I think I need it. What do you think, Tiana? You think I need it? We're going to put it right there. And I know I said start to finish, you guys, but we've been here a long time. So this is what we'll do. On Monday morning, Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, this will be one of the things that we finish together. So that way we still finish it together. I mean, they are mostly finished, but there are some details that I want to take care of. I do have flowers here, and we don't have any flowers in our stack. So let's find. Are you okay to sit there without me holding you? Are you going to fall? Should we do the birdie? You want to pick one? Which one should we use, Ariana? I mean, Tiana. Little Ariana. Oh, I think this one would be nice. Huh? Oh, okay. This one it's flowers, but it's not too much, right? So it still goes. It still looks a little apothecary-ish. So I don't want to do middle. We'll do it a little bit off center. And you guys will notice that this one's going to go down a lot faster. And it's because it's a newer transfer. When transfers first came out, I mean, they've improved the technology of the transfers over the years, which we're grateful for. See, that was a lot faster. And then I feel like we need this butterfly right here too. You gripping onto that bread pretty hard, Tiana. Right? Just a little butterfly. And now we've made our own book cover. And so I think we're pretty much finished. We'll do our details when we meet on Monday. But like this is one book, right? And on this one, we decoupage. We did like a whitewash over it to push it back a little bit so we could go over it and it doesn't like over it. They're not competing with each other. The background is supporting what's on top and they're not competing. We used a piece from that for there and then the other half. So like this one's pretty much done. We have a second book. All we did for this one was we just decoupaged it. That was it. Super simple. So like this is the simplest, right? We just decoupaged it. This one we decoupaged. We did a little whitewash and we used transfers. And then this one we decoupaged. We did some kind of a leather look on it a little bit and we waxed it to make it look like an old leather book. So you can decide like which book you want to be on top. If you want this one to be on top, we don't want bread. If you want this one to be on top. So now you're not beholden to just one stack of books in one specific way. And then on Monday when we meet, we'll finish our spine together. So that way that'll be the detail that we finish at the end. But and I'm probably going to go in and wax my pages so that they're not bright white either. So that is my craft for today. It was not very quick, but I'm hoping that you guys learned something new. I hope you guys enjoyed today's project. And even though I have transfers on these, I could still go in with wax right on top of these transfers as well. So when we meet on Monday, this will be one of the things that we kind of go through and do those small details together. You guys, there was so much experimentation today, right? And I would not have known that these things would work if I hadn't experimented and tried first. So I want to encourage you guys, just remember that experimentation leads to creativity. Experiment and play with your products and your processes so you can grow creatively. If you guys are looking for Royce decoupage papers, you can find the papers and the retailers who carry them at roycycled.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we'll be doing a completely different craft. Thank you guys so much. You have a blessed day.